We're going to look at another talking doll. If you haven't seen the other videos I did on talking dolls, you should check them out. We started with the Edison doll, which was around 1890, and then we went to the Liore talking doll, which was a little bit better. Edison's was not a success. And then we looked at the Oscar one, which was a little bit better success. Now we're up to what's called the Madame Hendren doll. This talking doll was manufactured by the Averill Company in 1918. They were the first to come up with, you know what, a real talking doll. I mean, the motor actually worked. I've got a motor out of its housing here. I've got one of the motors here with a cylinder that can play. And so these actually seem to work. And in fact, the mechanism was so good, other doll manufacturers years later were using this same motor in their dolls. So originally this doll was made in 1917 and it was introduced not as a talking doll. Then in 1918, it was introduced as a talking doll with these celluloid cylinders. Early on, most cylinders were made out of wax, and some companies were making celluloid cylinders, and celluloid is a much better material for the cylinders because it doesn't crack, it doesn't wear as much. And for something like a doll where a child is putting the cylinder on and off, celluloid is much better because the wax ones, they're just too fragile in the hands of a child. So this doll motor was used in other company dolls such as F&B, Love'ems, and a few others. They were all using the same size cylinder. So I'm going to bring you in to take a look at this mechanism, and we're going to play this doll and you'll hear what probably a good talking doll sounded like. We'll start with a look at the doll itself. It's quite a good looking doll. I mean, as far as dolls go, I really don't know because I'm not a doll aficionado. But there it is. I'm going to take the doll off its stand and take a look at where the motor is mounted so you can see the mechanism. You can see this part here. This is for the stand that keeps the doll upright, and it's a modern thing. It's not an original. I didn't want to take it off because I don't want to damage the doll. But you can see here there's some writing on it, Madame Hendren. And this doll was came in several models, and they were also sold as Dolly Reckon or something like that. So this is the motor, though, that makes it work. And you can see the cylinder fits on there. There's the mandrel. It's aluminum. That goes on like that. And then we need to wind up the mechanism, and there should be a key somewhere here. Let me just look for that. Okay, it's going to take me a second to locate. Okay, found the winder. It was just hidden under the dress. So there you go. That's where you wind it up. This is the on-off mechanism. So let's give this a try. Okay, wound up. Let's give it a try. Oops. Oh no. Okay, this one's not so successful yet, but I have a separate motor and we're going to give that one a try. Okay, we're going to give it another try. All right. Okay, we're going to try a different cylinder. Let's take that one off and let's try one over here. Put that one in. At least it's easy to change the cylinders and they're not fragile. Gonna wind it up a little bit. Yeah, these are not easy to do. That's okay. I'm sure a 8-year-old wouldn't have any trouble with it. All right, one more try. Okay, I didn't really wind it too much because I didn't want to overwind it. But you can hear this thing actually works. Let's look at the motor itself. Okay, let's take a look at the motor. You can see here, it's a torsional spring, which is a little unusual for a phonograph. And there's the reproducer. We'll get to see that better in a minute. There's the mandrel with a cylinder on it. And you can see there's a pinion gear, and it looks like some sort of governor there. So when this rotates, that spins around to regulate the speed. Pretty interesting, pretty sophisticated. You can see the on-off mechanism has a little brake, and it's just a rubber pad that connects to the mandrel and stops it from moving. If I rotate that around, you can see here, when you turn it off, there's something blocking the cylinder coming off. When you put it in this position, then you can take the cylinder off and the brake is completely engaged. There's the needle. You can see the needle's connected to the diaphragm, and the sound comes out the reproducer there, and it's attached to a horn, which you'll see in a second. So, pretty smart little mechanism. I mean, it's got a governor, it's got a spring, it rewinds to the start. I mean, everything about it is really smart. Here it is, housed in its original container inside the doll. So it's protected, and the sound comes out the horn there, out the front of the doll. I mean, just great. This is really the first truly working talking doll. So let me play this one and see if I can get it to work. Okay, so I got the doll motor here. I got the cylinder inside it. I'm going to wind it up. Just got to be careful about overwinding them. I don't want to break the spring. Oh, then it stops. Okay, so then I put this on like that. Almost. I bet you when it was new it worked fine, but let's be honest, that's the best talking doll we've seen so far. I would call that a proper working doll, which is why you can see it lasted so long. Okay, as I said, it seemed to work quite well. I will show you. Here is where the sound comes out, that little horn. This horn here sticks out here, so the sound comes out of her chest. So, very nice, interesting talking phonograph doll.